Good morning, everybody. It's Jay Ball, Blue Jays Maple Syrup, and I'm really excited. I know I've been really excited for a while now, but today's it, guys. Today is the day that I'm going to do my very first boil for the 2020 season. So sap ran pretty good yesterday. I maybe got about a quarter to half a gallon per tap. Maybe I'm going to go walk the lines here in a minute, do a couple things. One, check to see how much sap I have, but then two, also want to just make sure that none of my taps are leaking. Want to do a little bit of line maintenance and just make sure everything is looking good. Make sure there's no leaks. That's a big thing that you want to make sure is that you're not leaking sap out of the trees. So we'll go walk the buckets here in just a minute. As you guys can see, I've got the sugar shack all set up, ready to go. I got the stack pointing high towards the sky. So yeah, I am super jacked this morning. Thinking about doing a live feed when I do my first boil, so we'll see how that goes. But stay tuned for today's adventures. Thanks. First bucket. Let's take a look and see just how much sap we got yesterday. So you can see in the lines it's actually still a little bit liquid. Feels like there's some in there. There is. Look at that. There's probably about, I would say, maybe 3 gallons, maybe 4 gallons in there. So looks like it ran pretty good. I'll check the other buckets and just see how much sap I have. Looking at that, probably won't boil till later this afternoon. Let it get another run in. One thing I did notice is, I don't know if you guys remember, but that hole I tapped earlier this week, or drilled, and I didn't think it was gonna run. Well, guess what, it did. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let this thaw, because that's frozen. You guys can kind of see the hole there. I'm gonna let this thaw, and I'm gonna connect this line to here so I can collect that sap. So I'm gonna walk the rest of the sugar bush and see if any of the trees are leaking like that, any of the tapped holes, because that is bad. So yep, there is maple syrup in its raw state, frozen as sap. So I finally found a potential leaker. You guys can see where this bark is wet. Now I need to wait for the sap to start running. It looks like it leaked a little bit yesterday, so I might need to just tap this tap in just a little bit more, but so far so good. I've checked about 100 and probably 30 or 40 taps, and this is the only one that potentially is leaking, so that's actually pretty good. That's why you make sure you tap on decently warm days that are above freezing. You use really sharp brand new drills, and yeah, because this is a really important part. That some people think you can just drill a hole in the tree all, you know, oblong and stuff, but again, you gotta stay straight and true to the tree. No angles, keep everything nice and flat. One motion in, one motion out, and that's the best way to tap a tree. So I'll keep looking, and I'll come back to this one once the sap starts running to see just how bad it's leaking. Well, so far pretty good. I checked all the taps and only had one with a possible leak. So again, I'll let it warm up a little bit before I go back and try to re-tap that hole in a little bit. One tap I didn't even completely tap over here, which I don't know what the heck I was thinking. And then you guys saw where I drilled that one hole yesterday and it ran, but I didn't think it was going to, so I got to put a tap in there. But I just want to take a second to do a public service announcement. I don't agree with drinking and driving. I don't agree with road drinking, but I do understand it happens in the country. But what I also don't agree with is littering, okay? Especially in Michigan, this is worth 10 cents. This is my planet along with yours. Do not trash my planet, okay? This is the road I live on. I treat this area with a lot of respect. You need to too. So if you are gonna road drink, man up and keep the beer bottles in your car and recycle. So as I'm walking back to the house, I'm thinking about that last video, about maybe it was a little bit too aggressive about littering. Again, I don't agree with drinking and driving. If you're gonna do it, man up, keep the cans or the bottles in your car. In Michigan, this is worth 10 cents. So I was thinking maybe that's a little bit harsh, but as I'm walking back on the other side of the road, guess what? I find another can. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually gonna keep a trash can full of all the trash that I collect on this little quarter-mile stretch of road that I live on, half-mile stretch of road, just to show you guys what kind of impact road drinking can have. And I don't care if it's empty beer cans, empty pop bottles. I picked up a Mountain Dew bottle down the road yesterday. But guys, don't litter. It's like smoking. If you throw your cigarette butts out when you're smoking, you're just as bad as someone throwing a beer can in the middle of the road. If you're gonna smoke, I don't disagree with that, but keep the cigarette butts in your car so you can smell it all day to really think about what you're doing, not only to your health, but to the planet.